tuned for that one. That will start on tomorrow. So my clock, I have 12 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I appreciate all of you joining me from your homes, your mobile devices, wherever you are. And today we're going to talk about reducing stress and preventing burnout. And right now we are in a very stressful time. I think all of us would agree that we are in a very stressful time, a pandemic. Hasn't been a pandemic like this since 1918. And so we are living in a time that has caused many of us great stress. Social distancing, new term to us. Shelter in place. I was listening to the news on yesterday, and the president talked about there hadn't been a quarantine like this in 50 years. Businesses, schools, religious places, all closed. Health, finances, family, economy, jobs, all of this. It's totally new to us, but it also has brought a lot of stress. And stress, unchecked, stress that has not been checked or that we're not aware of can lead to burnout. So we always want to make sure that we are checking our stress levels, making sure that we are keeping our stress minimized so that we don't burn out. Because stress unchecked, it really does take a toll on your health, on your relationships, and your state of mind. And again, eventually it does lead to burnout. And burnout is basically when you are physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. And at that point, you're no good to yourself, to your family, to your job, anybody. And so we want to avoid getting to this place. So how do we do it? Here's some tips to help us to reduce stress. So our first tip is to set a schedule. I know many of us are working from home, and we love working from home, and you have a certain freedom from working from home, but you have to be careful because you must make sure that you keep working hours and set a schedule. I think Greg talked about it yesterday on yesterday's webinar on how you have to set a schedule. These are the hours that you're working. This will help you keeping structure. We're used to structure. We go to work every day, 8 to 5, 8 to 3, whatever. Now that we are at home, we need to make sure that we keep structure. So setting some work hours and making sure that we stick to them. Also, when we talk about setting a schedule, scheduling in some breaks and lunch. I talked to someone yesterday that said, they're a teacher and they were talking about how they worked all day and forgot to eat. We can't do that. Food is our energy. And when we notice our energy decreasing, we may need to take time to eat lunch, eat snacks. Now, be careful with the snacking because we don't want to add any other stress by gaining weight because we're just snacking all day. I had to watch myself because I have a house full of snacks and I find myself snacking more on things that are not healthy. And so we want to make sure that we're snacking and eating healthy. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But also taking breaks. Sometimes you got to get up from the computer and walk to the window or, look out the window. Go outside, take a walk by yourself or with those in your home. Take your dog for a walk. Just take time to disconnect for a moment. But you have to schedule in those breaks. Otherwise, again, you lose track of time. You've been sitting there all day and it can be stressful. And you want to make sure that you're meeting those deadlines. There are deadlines that we've been assigned, and if we are not meeting those deadlines, um, that's added stress. But we got to set that schedules to make sure that we are meeting those deadlines that we still have. And also, this is all new. Our kids are all home with us. For those of you that have kids like me, I'm not used to working and homeschooling at the same time. So it has been definitely a challenge, but I've had to make sure I, you know, talk to my daughter and help her with her stress level. And in doing that, setting a schedule for her. I wake her up at 7:30. School starts at 8 o'clock. And she's sitting at her desk at 8 o'clock and she is working. And I'm making sure that she is taking breaks, that she's eating lunch. If she needs help, I try to help her, except with math. But we got to make sure that we try to keep that structure, because it will help reducing your stress. So the first one is set a schedule, not just for you, but also for your children, and make sure you're taking those breaks and that lunch. Also, find ways to connect with others. So that's our next tip to help us reduce stress. This isolation can be stressful within itself. We're used to going out, going to the mall. I'm still getting those Bath and Body Works emails, and I want to go and use my coupon. I can't. The stores are closed. And again, we are under shelter in place, and social distancing, so we can't do the normal things that we do. So we're in our house. You have to be careful, because that can again produce a lot of stress. So some ways to help us stay connected with others is, this is a great time to make a list of all the people that you've been meaning to call, or you just hadn't had time. And this is a great time to call and check in on others, check up on your family members that are out of state, or people that you hadn't talked to in a long time. Also, having a support group that you can call and talk to when you are stressed out, when you do want to pass something by, a friend, or you need an idea, you want to check out an idea. This is a great time for you to call the people in your support system. Zoom conferencing. People have gotten really creative with using technology to connect with family, friends, our work teams. I heard someone did a girls' night in, and they did it on Zoom. My friends and I did a virtual breakfast where we all were at home eating our breakfast, but we were eating it together and talking. And so using Zoom, Facebook Live, any type of social media, just to take time to connect with those that are not in your home, and check in on people. Also, making sure we connect with those in our homes. We, again, can get in a routine where we are working and doing, but we're not making sure that we connect. And this is a great time to connect with your people in your house, your significant other, your children. Check in on them, talk to them, do some family nights and family games, whatever. Just making sure that you stay connected even to those that are in your own home. Also, very important is maintaining our mental health. If we're worried, that is going to produce a lot of stress. Worrying about things we cannot control. We cannot control this pandemic. The things we can control, staying in, washing our hands, wearing masks, all those good things we're doing. But we have to make sure that we're not worrying. And so making sure we manage, some tips to help us with our mental health is make sure we manage our media consumption. Watching the news can really get you stressed out and depressed. The numbers going up, people dying. It's hard to just watch that all day. I said take breaks, but I would not just take a break and consistently watch the news. It's just so much negativity. You definitely want to stay connected. Of course, you need to know what's going on. So I'm not saying don't watch the news, but just watch your consumption. How much are you getting of this negative content? Because it really can play a trick on your mind and really bring you down, depressed, you're worried, you're anxious. You don't want to do it. So manage that. Manage even social media. How much social media are you on? Are you using? Making sure that we manage that. Set a schedule for even social media, because again, too much of it's a good thing, but too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. This is a great time. Get your mind off. A lot of this is going on. Take time and learn a new hobby. Read a positive book or an article. There's so much out there. Do something to refocus your mind on positive things. So much negativity around us, but we're in control of us. So how can we make sure that our space is positive, our mental space is positive? And the way to do that is try get as much positivity in that you can. So consume as much positive. What am I trying to say? Focus on the positive and get as much as you can. Talk to positive people. You don't want to talk to a negative Nelly. When I talked about making sure you connect, but you don't want to talk to the negative person that's, going to bring you down. Again, you just want, for your own mental health, make sure that you take time to just get that positive in you. Pray, meditate, whatever helps you center yourself. Stay positive. Yes, thanks, Pete. Yes, stay around positive folks. All right. Make sure you connect with positive folks. So that's about maintaining your good mental health and then staying active. Exercise is always good to help us alleviate stress. But of course, gyms are closed and we can't go to a spin class. But what you can do is download some apps. I downloaded Peloton. What is it called? But I downloaded this app that is free for a certain amount of time, and I'm able to do all these workouts free. And it's awesome. And there are so many apps during this time that are offering free workouts. So you don't have to have equipment. Peloton, that's what it's called, Peloton. And they have all these free workouts. And they also have where you are with a group working out. It's free. So take time to stay active. Eat healthy. We talked about all the snacking. Be careful with the snacking. But what are some healthy foods that we can eat to help us so our blood sugar doesn't rise and our health starts deteriorating, and then that's more stress. So eating healthy, exercising inside, and making sure you take a walk. That's easy. Taking a walk outside by yourself or with those in your home, but just taking a walk. Enjoying the fresh air. It's a beautiful day outside today. This would be a great time. It's a little chilly, but it's a great time to take a walk. Around your neighborhood, good. So Cynthia Parker is saying, I walk every day around my neighborhood. It's refreshing and relaxing. Awesome. Good for you, Cynthia. All of us, let's make sure that we are doing things again to help us relax and refresh, as Cynthia said. Get enough sleep. Make sure we are sleeping enough. I read an article that talked about how, when we go to bed, we take our cell phones with us, and that screen time will mess up your sleep pattern, and also you wake up more during the night. So disconnect from that phone, cut it off, and just lay down in bed and relax your mind. So definitely not go trolling through Facebook and seeing what's going on and looking at CNN right before you go to bed. Not a good idea. But again, this is a time for you to de-stress, You don't want that stress. You want to have a great night's sleep so you can wake up and be productive. And make sure you're partaking in activities that bring you joy. What makes you happy? Do that. Take time to do that. If it's dancing, take a few minutes and stand up and dance. Turn on some music, dance. Get those in your family dancing. Hey, that's staying active as well. If it's coloring, I saw a lot of sites now offering adult coloring pages that you can download. Whatever it takes and whatever makes you happy and brings you joy, do it. As long as it's not illegal, immoral, and unethical. All right. Hopefully that doesn't bring you joy anyway. All right. Make sure, listen to some relaxing music, and there's so many podcasts out there. Take time to listen to a funny podcast. I listened to Pete's podcast last week. And there, again, you go on Apple, there are so many podcasts. Listen, learn. Again, this is another way for you to learn something, to listen to something positive. We're not alone in this. We're all together. We're together. We have to make sure that what we can control, us, that we're doing everything to reduce our stress levels, maintain our sanity and our serenity. All right, so you can make it, ladies and gentlemen. You can make it. But the important thing is we are in control of our stress levels. A little stress is not bad. We call it eustress. And eustress is good stress. But what we've been talking about today is that bad stress that will lead to burnout. And you don't want burnout. We want to do all we can to maintain and alleviate stress so that we don't get to that burnout. Because once you get to burnout, you're no good to anyone. So let's make sure that we're taking time to take care of our mental health, our physical health, that we are setting schedules, we're writing down goals, accomplishing our goals, and that we're taking time to connect with others, being creative, reaching out. If you need to talk to someone, having that support system to help you during those stressful times. All right. So what questions do you have about reducing stress and preventing burnout? Because it's all up to you. We can reduce that stress. You don't have to get to burnout. Nobody wants burnout. Thank you, Taria. Be kind to yourself. Forgive others often. Forgive yourself often. Yes. Excellent point, Taria. So a question was asked, do you find working at home more stressful than working in the office? I do. But some people may say, I love being at home and working at home. I like working from home, but it is very stressful, especially trying to homeschool. My degree is in adult education, but I'm really struggling with the child education here. And so it can be very stressful. And then there's so many distractions. And you want to clean up, you want to go wash, and you want to do this and things that you wouldn't even think about if you were at your desk at work. So yes, to me, it is a little more stressful. So now I've gotten into a routine of how, these set hours I work, and then I go and wash and clean and do all these other things. But I had to set a schedule, and it took me a while to get there, but I'm here. So great question. It can be very stressful working from home, but again, you're in control of that, making sure, as Greg said yesterday, you set boundaries. And you have to learn to say no. And sometimes people call and they say, what you doing? I'm at work. I'm actually working. So can I call you back when I get off? All right. Any other questions? Definitely stay prayerful. Somebody said that, yes. Um, yep, for me too. It's somewhat difficult working from home. Yes, it's just it's a whole new set of um, rules, I guess, that you have to set when working from home, and you have to just really buckle down and be disciplined. Um, get up in the morning like you normally do, shower and put on your clothes. Um, that helps me. Definitely, I cannot work in my robe and pajamas because that just, it doesn't help me um, get in the mode of working. Get up and do your morning routine like you would if you were going to work. Even with your children, you have to take breaks and say, this is the time for you to ask questions. What do you need? How can I help you? And get back to work. So, yep, a schedule, definitely need a schedule. Any other questions? I'm so glad that you all are here. Don't forget, tomorrow's webinar is on merit system jobs and applying for merit system jobs and the PBJC. So make sure you tune in. Any more questions? Well, I have enjoyed you, and I hope that you walk away with some tips to help you to reduce your stress. Again, we're in very stressful times. And so it's understandable that we will have a little stress, but how we manage it, how we maintain our sanity and our peace and how we make sure that we relax, all of that is in our control. There are some things that we can't control, but what we can control, make sure you're doing it. And the one thing that you can control is yourself. Make sure you're controlling yourself. Reduce that stress. Get up and take a walk after this webinar. Thank you. Hope you have a great day. And I hope to see you all real soon. Stay safe, stay healthy.